Thank you for joining us today on our Positioned for Purpose Conversations with Colette Marie podcast. I'm your host, Colette Marie. Yes, our podcast is for women of faith who struggle to see God in the places of pain and hardship and who need a reminder, a gentle reminder that right where you are, God will use you in the mess, in the hardships, in your most challenging times, in your heartaches and in your pain. God has a greater plan for your story. Romans 8:28 states, "For we know that all things work together for good to them that love God and are the called according to his purpose." Welcome to this week's episode. Today we'll be talking about what it means to be positioned for purpose. When you hear positioned for purpose, what were the thoughts that came to your mind? For me, positioned for purpose is serving right where we are, right where God has placed us in the season that we are in. It's so easy to think of being positioned for God's purpose to be this, like the end of a journey kind of a situation where your desire is to be a minister or your desire is to be a teacher, whatever that desire is. And once you get that desire, it means that the journey has ended and there is no place else to go. No. In that space that you are serving, is there something else that God is calling you to do right in that space? So while your job may be to be a teacher or your job is to be a business person, whatever your role is, what else has God called you to do? Because sometimes we think that the only thing that we're called to do is to serve in that gifting or that area that God has called us. And when I say positioned, means the place that you are right now. As I thought about the position for purpose and how I have found that in my own life, it is serving where God has allowed me to be. And what would that look like? That would look like if I'm called to be in an office, if I'm called to an administrative task, maybe as well, I'm also there to motivate and empower and encourage someone else. But if I have like blinders on and saying, oh, this is all I'm called to do, then I won't see anything else. I will not be open to anything else that the Lord is leading me to do. So my question to you as you are listening, and I want you to ponder over it, right where you are, the place that you are being called to serve, whether you are a married woman, whether you are a single woman, whether you are rich or whether you are poor, no matter your status, what else are you called to do? How is God calling you to serve? This week I had a great conversation with someone I just connected with, and I loved how the conversation flowed because we talked about purpose and what purpose means, and then we look also what position mean. Because too many times we tend to just focus our thoughts only on what we have in hand, but not thinking about the other persons that God has called us to impact right where we are. Have you ever thought about that? Have you ever stop and ask the Lord, Father, this is the place that you've called me to serve. How else can I serve you? How else can I serve the people who you have placed in my pathway? How can I serve you in a ministry and in the marketplace? What else are you opening my eyes to see? When you ask him that question and you are in a place ready to receive, I believe he will open it for you. It's almost like a doctor in a hospital. He's on his rounds and he has these things to do. But if someone stops him to ask him a question, he doesn't just flog off and says, oh, well, my duty is to the person who is in the bed. That's all I can do. It's a simple question he's being asked, and so he can respond. And so I don't want to trivialize and simplify what I'm saying. Only that we need to just take the blinders off. We need to be able to see that where we are, there's more than one thing for us to do. And in no way am I suggesting that you bite off more than you can chew, or nor am I suggesting that you have burnout. No. I'm just saying be open to the possibilities of something else to do. Because there's a purpose that you are called to do, yes. But that purpose can be done in different ways. And the position that you are placed in aligns with the purpose that you are called to do. How do you say, Lord, I know this is where I'm at, and honestly, I feel like I cannot take on something else, but you are showing me this picture, you're allowing something else to come in the pathway, and I would want to do it, but I think when we understand what the position for purpose is, when we get to that but, we know at the end of the day that it is God's purpose. It is His plans that we are carrying forth, and we are the better for it. If we truly understand that He'll not allow us to be at a place where we are so focused on this one area that we can't do anything else, and that He wants to broaden the scope of our vision, then we're able to say to Him, then Lord, bring it on. And I know it's not easy. I'm telling you that, and I know it's not easy. It was not easy for me, I can tell you that. But the passion and the encouragement and the fulfillment that I get from serving in the giftings that I have been given, in the different positions that I am in, it makes the work, and I don't want to even call it work, but it makes the assignment easier. Do you get me? Like, you feel such joy, it doesn't feel as if you're working. You're giving maximum output. And then you're seeing how God is transforming a situation, how He's bringing clarity to someone else, how He's opening a door to someone else, because we've allowed ourselves to be used right where we are, instead of waiting to be at a final destination. Because can I whisper something for you? The final destination would be in the graveyard. Yes. So we are not waiting until we get to that final destination. Because that final destination, on your way to it, there's something for us to do. On your way to getting to that big thing that you're asking the Lord for, there's some work that needs to be done. And even when you get there, there is still additional work to be done. But as I mentioned graveyard earlier, do you know that some persons go back home to the Lord with those gifts and talents that He gave them? Because there are a myriad of reasons why they thought that they could not manage, why they thought they could not proceed further than where they are at. And so I want to encourage you today to, one, not wait until you get to a desired destination before you serve the people whom God has called you to serve. Don't hold back on the gifts that God has given you and wait until the end of your days. When you get to the end of your days, you neither have the strength nor the willpower to do that thing. What am I saying to you today? To be positioned for purpose is having a desire to do, a desire to make a change, a desire to make a difference in the lives of someone else, your city, your state, your country, even the organization where you serve. And dare I say it, you're going to start in your family. There is work for us to do. There is work for us to do, but we have to be in a place ready to serve. We have to be in a place to say, Lord, if you are allowing these opportunities to come while I still have these things to do, it means that you will give me the energy to do. You'll give me the energy to be. You'll give me the energy to serve. As I think about my own life in this season, I'm a mentor and I have 2 mentees, and there's an opportunity for me to take on 2 additional persons. And I wanted to say, no, I do not have the capacity to take on 2 persons. I actually didn't want to take on not even 1. But the Lord would say that you could make time. Look at your schedule. You can make time to take on an additional person to mentor. And so sometimes we allow time to be the thing that holds us back, to say we don't have the time. But you and I know that we make space for what we want to make space for. And so if your desire is to do what God has called you to do, you will make the time to do it. Just as how I'm going to make the time to take on that 1 additional person right now, because I have the bandwidth for it. Not only that, it's a part of growing me. It's sharpening my skills as well. So what is it that God is calling you to do extra in this season, that you know He has already given you the bandwidth for, that you know it's going to grow you, it's going to scale you? What is it? I would love to hear from you. So remember, positioned for purpose is really serving right where you are with the gifts, the talents, and the abilities that God has given you. And every time that's the season for a particular thing has ended, you are thanking God for where He's taking you next and for how He will use you to make a difference in the lives of others. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I look forward to speaking with you again next week on Conversations with Colette Marie. Bye. If you enjoyed this week's episode and found value in it, would you consider liking, subscribing on either Apple, Spotify, or iHeart Podcast? Share with a friend or leave a review on the show. You doing that helps to allow other persons to find this podcast and also make it be a blessing to them. Looking forward to see you next week.